Hello, in this video series, we're gonna be talking about the certification of AACE, the Certified Cost Professional. I'm gonna try to do a series of videos covering the topics that are likely to appear during the examination date. I'm gonna start this with a earn value with concepts and calculations. Previously in the channel, I did two videos related with earn value. One of them is the summary of the book Earn Value from Quentin Fleming and Koppelman, and the other is regarding. There are other videos regarding control accounts and so on. First, disclaimer: this is not an official guide. This is heavily AACE influenced because the terminology that I'm gonna present here is based on these books, such as the Total Cost Management, or the Skills and Knowledge, or the CCP Study Guide, or other recommended practice from this institution. Plus my personal experience, which was really useful in the time when I took the examination. Uh, to give you a brief, what I'm gonna be talking is like what's in a nutshell what means EVM, some explanations, some formulas, some examples of theory questions, as well as some examples of calculation questions. In a nutshell, earn value metric is a combination of different uh, parts of the project. In my personal experience, I like it this. We need dates. We need when this work is gonna be complete. We need cost, which is the how much are we spending in complete those activities. We need budget. Well, what is the initial budget for some specific part of the project? We need quantities, which is the progress of the project, and we want to know the forecast. How much do we need to complete? Let's say, for example, that we need to, our project is to installation of 100 meters of fence. Some variables that we are gonna need before jumping into this explanation is like to understand that there are different ways to measure work progress, such as units complete, incremental milestones, start finish, supervision opinion, cost ratio, weight or equivalent units. We're gonna focus on the first one, units complete, as we are measuring 100 meters of fence. Also, the earned value formula is equals to percent complete times budget for that scope, and the percent complete is equals to the earned work hours or dollars divided by the budget of those budget dollars. Some important information is that in the examination date, the variables of earned value, plan value, and actual cost usually come either in their nor in the new denominator or in the old one, which is the budget cost for work schedule, BCWS, means the plan value, and BCWP is the earn value, the work performed. The actual cost is more easy to correlate because it starts with actual cost of work performed, and then some formulas for understanding the variance, such as the schedule variance, the cost variance, the SPI, the CPI, plus the variance at the end of the project. It's not required more complex formula for this examination. So now that we have reviewed some basic concepts, um, what kind of theory questions could come in the exam? For example, what is the purpose of CPI? And the answer will be to indicate the performance of cost. Other question type, what is the formula to compute an EV? And I previously showed you, is progress percentage times the budget, either dollars or hours. And there could be a question that what BCWP stands for. It stands for budget cost of work performed. And a combination between a schedule and cost variance indicator, such as what a total float higher than zero, but an SPI lower than one means. And that could mean that we're ahead of schedule on critical paths, but we're significantly delayed in overall in tasks that are not critical. So let's get back to our example. Let's say we have to install this fence. The task is called fence. The unit of measure is meters. The quantity is 100. The rate is $10 per meter, and the budget will be 10 times 100, 1,000. And the start and end is between the 1st January 2026 and 30th October 2026. So we got the duration of 10 months, right? And so now on this stage, we are in 30% complete in 4 months. Is it good or is it bad? So we need to analyze this. First, I'm going to split this in 10 rows, and then we got the PV, the plan value for each month will be 10 because it's 100 meters in 10 months. We're making a linear distribution. Imagine it's just a fence. But we're in the month number 4, April, and we have installed the fence as follows. The first month 7 meters, the next month 7 meters, then 8 meters, 8 meters. So it's also important to understand that earned value metrics are both calculated at the month instance as well as the cumulative. So we are going to calculate the variances every month, but also with the cumulative, because a big difference or variance in the month could not be the whole picture of the project. In this instance, in two additional columns, we calculate the cumulative of both the plan value and the earned value. A third variable, we got plan value, we got earned value. We need also the actual cost. And the actual comes from a costing system that any company could have, like recording labor, material, plant, and we got a value for each month, 80, 75, 98, 85. As well, we compute the cumulative for these 4 months so far. And let's get back to review this formula that I mentioned in previous slide. So cost variance is the difference between earned value and actual cost. And CPI, we use the same variables, but we make a division. The schedule variance compares earned value with plan value, and the SPI use the same variables but a division. And finally, the variance of completions measure what is going to be the overspend at the end of the project. So let's get back to our variance analysis. So cost variance, earned value minus plan value. So we have installed worth $300 of fence, and we should have been installing 400, and the cost for installing those 300 is $338. So the cost variance is minus 38. So we are overspending. Our SPI is 0.89. In terms of the SPI, we have installed 300 when we should have 400, so it means 75% or 0.75, and we got a schedule variance of minus 100. And then this is the mathematical aspect. We need to provide some explanation, but that's more related with the end month report. Finally, forecast. So the people who is installing this fence should be able to tell how much money that person or team needs to complete this scope. And we're going to have an amount for every month. And then we also accumulate these values. And we might have the final estimate to complete. With the estimate to complete plus the actual cost, we could have the estimate at completion, which for this example is 1083, which give us a variance at completion of minus 83, which could sound pretty low because we already have been spending a ratio of 0.89. If we divide 1000 by 0.89, so we keep the performance of actual work, it means we might spend more than 1100. So maybe this forecast is being conservative. That's it. Another important word that you might need to know, and we don't use this in all the projects, is a word named rules of credit. And rules of credits are, in essence, they are representation of work components designed to measure progress towards a large deliverable goal. For example, if we want to deliver steel in tons, 500 to 20 tons of steel, but we're not gonna track the cost of all of the components of this, let's say, girders or beams. So we break down this into different components, such as these foundations, plumb, connections, and we give up a percentage of all of these components. And then we progress these components by quantity, and then we got the total quantity of those components and the today quantity. So how much tons of steel have we earned? That's what rules of credits are helpful for. So the earned tons is equals to calculate the percentage of progress times the total quantity, which is 520, times the credit for that particular component. And that gives us a total of 82.5, which divide by 520, it represents 60%. Sorry, here, this is 10.4. Okay, there's here a comma mistake. But to be honest, I prefer to compute this with using percentage. So if this is 2%, and imagine the cost of this total girders is 1,000, so that means the budget is 20. So if we have complete 200 out of 200 of this first task, so I mean we are 100% of 20, so our earned value is $20. So in terms of abstraction, I do prefer to use monetary values.